Dopamine. Dopamine, think of it, it's the molecule of more, but it's what drives you to a goal. So I've heard a lot of women say they don't feel like working out anymore once they go through perimenopause. Yeah, their dopamine goes down, so their motivation to work out may be less. Some of them, the motivation to work out relationship problems might be less. So there's a lot of places that dopamine shows up for us. We also can get, like, I can tell you that I have found over the years, over my perimenopausal years, that I've just become more and more and more of a dopamine junkie because my body's not making as much of it, so I have to go searching for it. It's like addicted to go search for it. So it'll search for it in buying things, it'll search for it in eating food. It'll search for it in new experiences. I just came back from 4 weeks in Europe, and I am in the process of resetting my dopamine system because it was so exciting, so many things going on that I was like, I got to reset this system, and resetting your dopamine system is no fun. Last couple of days have been a little brutal, but I know that they're really going to help me be able to get small joys out of life. When you're dopamine saturated, nothing brings you joy. The trick with dopamine is that you want to create momentum. You don't need motivation with your life or your goals. You need momentum. This means you want to create small little wins. So if you are trying to lose weight and it feels like a daunting task and you're in your perimenopausal years, we need dopamine to get you to the gym. So maybe you can't get to the gym, or maybe you can't get out and walk or go work out for like an hour. So just allow yourself to go on a 5-minute walk. Just put your sneakers on, go on a 5-minute walk, and when you come back in, high five yourself and acknowledge that you made it out the door with your sneakers on your feet, and you got out and you went and did something good for you, even if it's 5 minutes. So if you're struggling with a task, chunk it down. Stop trying to take it on in this big totality because you don't have as much dopamine. You got to create new dopamine hits for yourself. The other thing to remember is that dopamine loves novelty. So switch things up. You might have to switch up your routine where maybe you're fasting in the morning. Maybe all of a sudden you fast in the evening. Maybe you are driving a certain way to work every day. Now it's time to drive a different way. Maybe you need a new gym to go to. You got to go find dopamine. Will love it if you can go into new experiences. So go and find those new experiences to keep your motivation. Okay, second neurotransmitter that estradiol stimulates is serotonin. So when we hit a goal, I recently bought a new car. I love my new car. It's the nicest car I've ever driven in my entire life. And when I got in it, the dopamine was just filling my brain. It was like, wow, this is a dream come true. And that dopamine lasted maybe a couple of weeks. Every time I got in, I got another dopamine hit. And what ended up happening was after a few weeks of driving it, I didn't have that euphoric dopamine hit, but I had that yummy serotonin hit that was like, I love this. It didn't feel like I need to go get more because dopamine always wants you to go get more. This is why, like, when you lose weight, if you lose 10 pounds, you have a momentary like, woohoo, and then you're like, but maybe I need to go lose more. That's dopamine. But serotonin should come in, and serotonin should say, you did a good job. Let's enjoy this. And serotonin is sort of that fulfilled happiness you get where you just are riding along feeling good. And it doesn't feel like you need more. It feels like you got enough, and this feels wonderful. That's serotonin. So dopamine gets you to the goal. Serotonin pats you on the back and says, job well done. Enjoy this for a moment. Estradiol stimulated serotonin. So one of the things that I noticed in my clinic for many years was how many women who had these amazing lives would come in to me and say, my husband's incredible. I live in a gorgeous home. I have everything I could ever want, and I don't have any joy. And I have no motivation to work out, to get healthy, to do anything. So I'm lacking motivation and I'm joyless. And there's nothing on paper that shows that I should be that. Well, that's the combination of estradiol going away, causing dopamine and serotonin to diminish. So I already talked about how you can bring dopamine back online. How do you bring serotonin back online? Now, this is where it gets really fun. So the first place that you can start to raise serotonin is with fasting. And this is really cool. It's a study I didn't even put in the book in Fast Like a Girl. So you're getting it here for the first time. It's actually going in the new book. And it showed that a 9-hour fast was enough to upregulate to stimulate serotonin by stimulating the 5-HT2A receptor site and I assume it's doing this through ketones. The study didn't say that. But it stimulates this receptor site that upregulates serotonin and gives you an antidepressive effect. So small doses of fasting. It doesn't have to be a big dose. It can be a small dose, a 9-hour dose, and you can have that antidepressive effect. That's huge.